In today's episode, I'm chatting with my good friend Sandra Felemovicius. She's joining me all the way from Minneapolis. She has a really cool show of live sessions that's called Tap Into Your Creativity. Definitely something that you want to check out.
Resources, inspiring interviews, business practices, and practical advice to take your art career to the next level. Join Sergio Gomez in today's Artist Next Level and get ready to take control of your career.
Hi, Sandra. Good to see you today. How are you?
Hi, Sergio. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I am doing great. Thank you for being here. You're joining me all the way from Minneapolis, and I'm super excited that we have a little bit of time here to chat about a pretty cool project that you are doing right now. Well, first of all, you're an artist, and you'll tell us a little bit about your art in a minute. But you have a project that you started along the pandemic, times when it all started as well, of going live into your social medias, in your Instagram, and interviewing artists and other people in the art world as well. And you're doing that every Wednesday and Saturday right now at noon, at least for now. So I'm really interested to hear about, your story, why you decided to do that, and what has motivated you to continue to do that. Because a lot of people, when the pandemic came, a lot of people were doing live, right? And then kind of like started to wind down.
Yeah, true.
But yeah. you have been faithful to that idea, and there's also a social mission component to that, which I would love to hear about. So, Sandra, welcome, and we are happy to have you. So, tell me a little bit about this Tap Into Your Creativity idea.
So, how Tap Into Your Creativity came to be was, like you said, in the beginning of this pandemia, we were all trying to figure out how to reinvent ourselves and what to do. And, I have my studio 15 minutes away from my home in Northeast Minneapolis at a building called the Casket Arts Building, which is amazing. And that whole neighborhood, it's called the Little Soho of Minneapolis. So it's a great place to be. But when they shut down everything, I had to come home and find a little corner in my house to start creating. And the juices were just not flowing. We were all just kind of freaking out what to do. And, I continued to see, my husband is a physician. He's a surgeon, and he was going in every day into the hospital. Mm-hmm. Every hour would change on what his behavior should be, and hours at home, and all the steps that he did to have us feel safe. So meaning like he would go to work and he would shower in the hospital, and then he would come home and I would have his clean clothes on the garage, and he would change in the garage and then come inside the house and shower again. I mean, it's just a whole to do, right? And and so I thought, he's out there, he's working every day, he's helping people, and it just got me thinking, like, what can I do as an artist to also help people? Mm-hmm. And so I started to write ideas down, and just like not even thinking in Spanish, in English. All my notes are a mess. Nothing makes sense, but it actually did make sense at the end. I decided to start this project called Tap Into Your Creativity, which would have, like you said, something meaningful. And I thought, how, as a community of artists, we can help and make a difference to someone, or to to something that is in need. So I started to research a little bit on different places that we could help. And I saw the need at the time for food. And still now. I mean, we don't think that, living in the United States, there is a problem of food and hunger. We think that we all have it great because we live in the United States. And the more I went into it, I saw that there was a huge need for it, and continued to be a huge need for it. So I chose Feeding America as my organization to give money. And how it works is, I started with literally the people that I knew that would trust me. to go on a live, right? Because it was all new to me. I had to learn everything myself. I had no idea what I was doing. I've never done it in my life. And so all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
And so I called the people that I knew and respected as artists, and I said, hey, I have this idea. In turn, would you then make a 10 by 10 piece of artwork, original artwork? I started by selling the collections by the month, and then whatever I collected,
Mm-hmm.
we would give that 100% of that profit to Feeding America. Mm. And so fast forward, I gained the trust of my audience, the trust of the artist community, the trust of art galleries, interior designers, tech-savvy people, anyone that have something good and inspirational to give to people at home. And yes, in the beginning, it was for people who were really paralyzed and they couldn't move because it was just so hard in the beginning. Was, nobody knew what was happening. And I think now we don't know what's happening, but we're more used to it. I think that, unfortunately, we have to pivot and switch around and adjust, to our new life. Mm-hmm. And but the need for food is still there. The need for, people are still hungry. And so, after more than 50 or some interviews that I've done, the artists are excited to participate because they have something to give, and they feel like they're doing something for the better of the world, for the better good, for, to work as a community of artists, that we're not alone, that we're together, and together we're doing something good, Right. So up to now, it's been like almost $16,500 to Feeding America.
Amazing. 15,000?
16.
Oh, 16,000.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah. So that it's an equivalent of like something about 65,000 meals.
Wow. That's
so
amazing.
If you really think about that number, we have helped thousands of people. Thousands of meals have been out there because of us. Right. And so, that feeling is I can't even tell you. It's an incredible feeling. And, I thought I would give it a shot. And like you said, a lot of people just disappeared in the beginning, and, they did it for a couple months and they were like tired of it and moving on. And, and I just couldn't move on from it because the response was amazing. And, be careful what you wish for a little bit kind of thing.
Absolutely.
It's overwhelming. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I had to hire an assistant to help me because it was just too much. I have to prepare the artists, all the things that you don't see behind the scenes that you, Sergio, understand because you do the same thing. At least I know what I'm kind of doing. But if you have an artist that doesn't know how to use, technology, it can be a little challenging, right?
And a lot of the time consuming part is not really the time in which you are live with the artist, but it's all the emails, the exchange, the coordination, or what time, are you on the East Coast or the West Coast? All those little details that could make everything wrong.
Exactly. And do the curation right? So right now,
promoting it, because you have to promote it to your audience. So you do a great job of telling people this is the lineup that's coming up. Because I've been sorry to interrupt you, but I've been following you, and I went back to even your first episode, which is I think April 3rd, and even the level of production, and your now everything has been growing as well. Your brand, as well as tapping into your creativity, now it's quite recognizable when it pops up on my screen. So all that takes time. To say that
it takes time and dedication and a lot of work. Mm-hmm. People ask me like, how do you do it? And I said, just I'm working hard. It doesn't just come, it doesn't just shows up, it doesn't, it's a whole thing. You have to show up and you have to work hard. And, it has paid off in many ways that I never even expected it would. My, I've met people from all over the world. I've had people from Australia, a lot of artists from Mexico, my hometown, and connecting all these people by doing this Art COVID project has expanded everyone's, they feel like they're part of something that they wouldn't have necessarily know that artist, but now they do because they're part of this project.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I think, one of the things that because of the pandemic, now technology has been more accessible to people. Even my dad is doing Zoom calls. My dad is 86 and,
Exactly.
Now he's like, oh, I have a Zoom call today. Like, what? So, it has made it so accessible that people now understand how to use it, how to consume it as well. And also more people are spending more time at home looking at their device. So why not, right? Provide some content that also puts your mind in a good place as a creative artist too, or in any type of creative person you may be, finding content that's also helping you with your art career, giving you inspiration, motivation, tools, ideas. All that I think is important. And, it's great that people like you, Sandra, are doing that. Now, I have a question for you because, for example, happened to me when I did my first breakfast with Sergio and I put it in my kitchen and I said, let's see what happens. When I look back, how much I have learned of being in front of the screen after that. So tell me a little bit about, when you look back at your very first episode.
Oh my God.
So now, the
very first episode, I couldn't breathe. I was so nervous. And then on top of it, the artist interwork wasn't working really well. So the sound was awful. And I didn't know how to handle that. I'm like, oh my God, okay, well, let's try again and let's do a part 2 of it. And, and at that time, even Instagram has changed dramatically in the last 8 months because in the beginning I had to screen record the interview, then download it into my computer, compress the video, and then upload it.
Oh,
it took me forever. So even those things have changed because now Instagram, you can now go directly into your IGTV and it download it for you. But in the beginning, everything was just, I was out of my comfort zone. Right. And so I didn't know. I was learning at nights. I would read all about Instagram and how to do videos and all this technology that I had no idea how to compress it. I didn't even know what the compressed video was and, all these things that I had to learn by myself. And so in the beginning, even I would write down all the questions and, on my I have a tripod with a rim of light, and I would have all the questions, with tape all over that. My whole thing was it was crazy. It was literally I had little cards with each question, and then the next tape, and another question, and the next. So they were literally chains coming down. What?
I hope you took a picture of that.
Oh my God, I think I do actually.
Have a good memory.
And so, fast forward to now, I feel very comfortable. I know what to ask. I know where to take the artist. I want to hold their hand through the process. I don't want to just ask something that they would feel uncomfortable talking. Because also, I've had all different kinds of artists, and everyone is in a different, they have different feelings of different things. And I try not to go into politics if I can, unless the artist, really wants to go there. But I have found that we treat our artwork in a very sacred way. Mm-hmm. And the space that we give ourselves is a very sacred time. So all the noise that we hear outside, it kind of stays outside. And that's something that I really love, that fresh air that I'm giving people, that 1 hour of breathing and being joyful and being, the artists have been incredibly generous by showing us process, which, before also, I think, the artist practice can be very lonely. And you don't show necessarily because either you get frightened that someone will learn your process and then want to copy you. Or this time around is different. People want to show, people want to give. Mm-hmm. And it is eye-opening how much that has helped, people at home.
Right. And I think for you, and as a creator of making this content and giving, and also being a channel for which people can give to also those who are hungry. And right now with so many people that have lost their jobs, again, the importance of that. Also for yourself as an artist, there's also something that it rejuvenates, invigorates your life and your career. And that's my next question. What I'm going to take you, because this, the tap into your creativity, of course, is one aspect of what you're doing right now, but also you are a practicing artist and you have studio work and all that stuff. So tell me a little bit about how are you managing, that both things, this new baby that is now growing.
Well, interesting that you asked that question. It's a very good question, because in the beginnings, I didn't have any balance whatsoever. Yeah. I gave myself 100% to the project. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of dedication. And so I was focused on that. Yeah. That being said, my painting practice suffered because of it. And so right now, I'm actually balancing more my life. I'm going to go to once a week doing Tap Into Your Creativity. And I need to start, going back into my painting practice, because that's what makes me happiest. Uh-huh. I don't want to lose that. And, as an artist yourself, it's like, when you exercise every day, you feel great, you come to the studio and you have it, right? It's coming. Well, for me right now, it's very trying to go back. Mm-hmm. I have to use my hand again and almost like relearn to paint. Mm-hmm. It sounds weird to say it, mm-hmm. but when you don't practice every day, or if you have a routine of showing up 3 times a week or whatever is your routine, I do very well with routine. So when I was interrupted by this whole thing, right now it's a little challenging to go back, and I'm challenging myself, to go back and to find that rhythm again. Because without that rhythm, you kind of, you're like not here, not there. Exactly. And so I do 2 forms of my paintings. Are abstract contemporary, I would say. But I also do longhorns that I bring from Mexico. And I treat them as sculptures. And I literally convert this skull mm-hmm. into a beautiful piece of artwork. And I love the process of working in 2 different genres and doing it at the same time. One informs the other. And I really, really like the non-objective language of art. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it. I understand it. I have done it now for many, many years. I was lucky enough that the U.S. Bank Stadium in here, the Viking Stadium, they selected some of my artwork to be in the stadium. So I have very large pieces in the stadium.
Cool. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was very cool, and it was very hard because they were really big pieces, and I did it on my own, so it was quite the challenge. I lived on top of ladders for a long time, but mm-hmm. I was able to do that. So it's kind of fun to come back and find myself again and go back into that routine.
Yeah, no, that is great, because I think it's all about managing. And so that you don't feel like you're cheating one or the other, right? Because that's what happens a lot when we take on something, we feel like we're cheating on our studio practice, right? And so on. But once you find your balance, it sounds like you have now that you have put all your time into it. Now you figure out how it works, how to fine tune it, how to make it more productive. So it's better for you, for your assistant, and for the guest. So once everything is lined up, now you can go back and start focusing again on your first love, right? Which is your art as well.
Exactly.
Then become a companion, and run it for many things for, as long as you want, or change it along the way, as maybe next year tap into your creativity will be something totally different, right?
Well, and here's the thing: tap into the creativity has a lot of layers. So, so not only do you come into my project and do a piece of art, and we give it to Feeding America, but also you will also, as the artist participant, will be part of a book or catalog that I'm making for each one of the artists. We'll have one page where they show the artwork that they gave. Yeah. So I will be able to sell that catalog, and then it will be almost like a testimonial of what did you do during this time, Right. And so it has a lot of layers, but but it will be something that we can look back and say, wow, I have all this artists that did this for this particular time in our lives. So we can go back and look and see, and they're all very different, and that's the idea. And then the second part of it is, I think at some point I'm going to partner up. I think, the future looks like collaborations, right? Mm-hmm. So when you collaborate with experts on certain things, I will be able to maybe, record those sessions and then sell, the workshops. Mm-hmm. That would be tap into your creativity, but it will be a point two, and that will be a paying membership. Exactly. So it will be something that I could also be involved, keep inspiring with people, with professionals, but it wouldn't be on Instagram. It would be more of a professional platform, and that you can become a member and then benefit from all these incredible artists.
That's great. So the baby's growing. Right?
The baby has a lot of babies.
It's not a baby anymore. It's not crawling anymore. Now it's starting to walk on our.
Yeah. I mean, it's ambitious. It's it's the good thing is that I believe in myself. Yeah. And that I believe that I can do it. Mm-hmm. Because here I am 8 months and counting after, and I am booking now into January, believe it or not. So it's quite something. It really is.
Right. And by the way, for all our friends, either if you're watching right now through the video here on Felemovicius Sergio, or you're listening to the podcast, I'm going to be a guest in your Tap Into Your Creativity pretty soon. So
December 5th.
December 5th?
December 5th at 12 o'clock Central Time. So you better check it out, because then we're going to have the camera switch around, and we're going to make it all about Sergio, which I'm very curious to know.
Excellent. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for that. Well, Sandra, I'm sure my friends here are really waiting to hear where they can, watch Tap Into Your Creativity. Where can they find you? What's your Instagram address, and what are the exact days in which it comes out?
So you can find me on Instagram at Sandra Feli Art. You can also find me on YouTube at Sandra Feli Art, and on Facebook at Sandra Feli Art. So they're all the same. I upload all, and on my website, www.sandrafeli.com. Mm-hmm. And it's Sandra, F as in Frank, ELE, Art.
Excellent. And, for podcast, I'll include that in the notes and also in the description. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Sergio. This is really quite the opportunity for me. Hopefully your audiences will want to tap into their creativity with me and be generous enough and open their hearts and their wallets and give to people in need. And let's keep, building that number and doing good for our greater community.
Excellent. Well, to all our friends right now, we want to remind them to make sure you follow Sandra and show up every Wednesday. And well, you said you're going to switch to 1 day a week, right?
So right now, this week is Wednesday and Saturday, and then I'm jumping then to only Saturdays, unless I can't find another time, then I'll add a Wednesday. But that's where I'm telling you, I'm trying to find my balance by having a full working week for myself and then working on Saturdays on Tap Into Your Creativity.
And the nice thing is like, the live is on Saturday at noon. However, people can watch them at any time because they get
at any time
Instagram. So
right. And you should watch. There's the variety is incredible. The artists are incredible. For the full list, if you want to see them all in order on my website or on my YouTube channel, they're all in order. And on my Instagram, you can see my artwork combined with the Tap Into Your Creativity.
Right. And they're great inspiration. Like those days that you sometimes are in the studio and like, I wish I want to listen to something that will inspire me. That's a great source right there. So thank you, Sandra, for all you do. Thank you for also bringing us along into, the mission that you have to help feed the hungry as well in this difficult time. Thank you so much for all you do. And we hope to see you very soon. And to all our friends, please do us a big favor. Sandra and I will be super happy if we see that you also share this episode with all your friends in your social medias. If you have a good friend that you think like has to listen to this episode, please click that share, send it to that person today. That would be really awesome. It will make us really happy. And more than anything, please also go to Sandra and to her Instagram, send her a message. Let her know if you learned about her project through the podcast or through Breakfast with Sergio as well. So thank you, Sandra. We'll see you in December.
December 5th. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandra. Have a great day. And we'll see you guys.
You too. Take care.
Check out our website at www.theartistnextlevel.com, where you will find our podcast library, learn about our upcoming webinars, find resources relevant to your career, and much more. Thanks for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you at the next level.